Hey guys, welcome to Buddy Academy. I am Vidyashri. I will be taking maths class for you and today's topic is inverse trigonometric functions. First one is inverse trigonometric functions and we'll see their domain and the range, and next one is principal value branch. We'll see what is principal value branch, and for the inverse trigonometric function what are the principal value we will learn, and the properties of inverse trigonometric function we are going to learn in this class. So before going for inverse trigonometry function, let us just recall the trigonometry functions, their period, their domain and the ranges. This you have already learned in class 11. It's okay if you just have a recall. Okay. See, for sine function, cos function, we have the domain is all the real numbers and the range is minus 1 comma 1 within the closed interval. Okay, that is minus 1 and plus 1 is included. Okay, and the period is 2 pi. What is this period? You know, period is just the point where the curve repeats. Okay, you have learned the curve for sine, cos and tan in the previous class, that is class 11 itself. So let me show an example. See, this is a sine curve and see the curve starts at 0 and meets the axis at pi, and again it starts at pi and meets the x-axis at 2 pi. Okay, again after this 2 pi, the curve again repeats. It will go like this. Okay, that is here 3 pi and here it is 4 pi. That is, the curve gets one complete rotation here. Okay, this is called a period. Okay, where the curve gets a complete rotation, this is called a period. Whereas after that, it just getting repeated. See here also in the negative side also, from here it is just getting repeated. Okay, so the period of sine curve is 2 pi. And in cos also the period is 2 pi. If you refer to the cos curve and the tan curve, you will be understanding that. So the period refers to the curve where it gets complete, where it have only rotation, where it gets on a complete rotation. Okay. Coming back to this table, and the period for tan is pi, and see the domain is all real number except 2n plus 1 pi by 2. What is this 2n plus 1 pi by 2? Why we are neglecting the 2n plus 1 pi by 2 is, see, tan is sine theta by cos theta. Okay. So, since we have cos value in the denominator, we don't want the cos value to become 0. Okay. At 2n plus 1 pi by 2, that is the multiple, the odd multiples of pi by 2, that is 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2 and pi by 2. In all these places, the cos theta meets the x-axis where it becomes 0. Okay. Therefore, the cos at these points, at all these points, the cos value becomes 0. If the cos value becomes 0, since the cos is in the denominator for tan, okay, if you have denominator 0, what happened? We cannot determine the value, right? So we don't want the cos value to become 0 here. So only at this value your cos becomes 0. So we are neglecting this value alone while taking the domain. So we can take all the real numbers except 2n plus 1 pi by 2. And the range is all the real numbers. Similar to that, see secant also. Secant is what? Secant theta is the reciprocal of cos. Again, cos comes in the denominator. We don't want it to be 0. When the cos value will become 0, at this place the cos value, at this value the cos becomes 0, and we don't want this value in the domain. Okay. Then cosecant. Cosecant, coming to cosecant. Cosecant is what? Sine, 1 by sine at n pi. At n pi, the sine value will become 0. At n pi, the sine value become 0. See, you will see the curve, same curve. See, at pi, the curve meets x-axis. So here the value becomes 0, y value becomes 0. Again at 2 pi the curve meets the x-axis. Again here at 2 pi the y value becomes 0, and 3 pi it will meet the x-axis. At 3 pi the y value becomes 0. So 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi only generally we are writing n pi. At n pi, at all the values of n pi, your y value will become 0. So I don't want my sign to become 0 when it comes in the denominator. So here I have sign in the denominator, I don't want it to become 0. So what I am doing, I am just leaving the n pi while taking the domain. And for both secant and cosecant, the range is minus infinity to minus 1, union 1 to infinity. That is, again, it's all the real numbers except 0. Okay. Now, cot. For cot, what is cot? Cos theta by sin theta. Sin comes in the denominator. At what value of sin becomes 0? At n pi sin becomes 0. So my domain is all real number except n pi, and the codomain, that is the range, is all the real numbers. So this we have already learned. We just had a recap. Now our inverse function is quite similar to this only. We'll see that. Yeah. So we'll see the domain and range for the inverse trigonometry functions. See, our function there is sine function. Inverse of sine function is sine inverse of x. Inverse of sine x is sine inverse of x. So cos inverse of x is inverse of cos x. Tan inverse of x is inverse of tan x. Okay. So the domain will be the codomain, or that is the range of the sine function. See, the range, this range will become the domain for the inverse function. This range will become the domain for the inverse function. We have learnt in the inverse functions, right, in chapter 1. Okay, for a function, if a function is from a to b, then f inverse will be the function from b to a. Okay, that is, the domain of the function will become the codomain of its inverse, and the codomain of the function will become the domain of this inverse function. The same thing here also. The range of this function will become the domain for the sine inverse, and the domain will become the range for the sine inverse. See, so the range for the sine function all will be the domain for the sine inverse here. Okay. See, we have learnt now, for tan, the domain will be all the real numbers, and the cot also the domain, the range will be all the real numbers, and the cot here also will be all the real numbers. So here, when it comes to domain, its range becomes the domain here, and the function, that is the codomain. For the same functions, the codomain are minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. See the range, it's nothing but the theta values. It's nothing but the theta value. The range is nothing but the theta values here. Okay. See, for sine function, the range is minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. And what is the inverse of sine function? It is cosecant. So for cosecant inverse also, the same range, minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2, except 0, because sine 0 theta is 0. So since for cosecant, sine will be in the denominator, so I don't want 0, my denominator to be 0. So the range is minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2 except the degree 0. Okay, and then see, for cosecant the range is 0 to pi, and for secant also the range is 0 to pi except pi by 2. At pi by 2, you have already learned, right, in the previous class, cos pi by 2 is is 0. So my cos will become 0 when the angle is pi by 2. And for secant, I don't want the cos to become 0. Hence, in the range, you can neglect pi by 2. Then for cot, tan, see pi by 2 minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. Here alone, the range will change. Here on the range will change. So this tabular column you should get very thorough for doing all the problems in this chapter. So it is very important for you get thorough. Okay, next we'll move to the another concept. The value of an inverse trigonometry functions which lies in the range of principal branch is called the principal value of that inverse trigonometry functions. That is, principal value is nothing but, see, if I take sine inverse of x, okay, the value of this x which lies in the principal branch value of the sine inverse function. What is the principal branch value of the sine inverse function? We have just now learned, we will see, minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2. That is, the value of x which lies in the range minus pi by 2 comma pi by 2 is the principal branch value of that sine function. Okay, that is, once again I will say, if I take sine inverse, the function sine inverse, and if the value of x which lies in the principal branch value of that function, whether it is sine function or cos function, okay, it is up to the function given in the question here. If it lies in this branch, then that value of x is the principal value. Then the value of x is the principal value of that function. Okay. So that's all the principal branch value. I'll tell you how to apply this while solving the problem. We'll see an example problem. We'll now see the trigonometric values. This you have already learnt in the previous class. We'll just have a recall because all these values are very much important to solve the problems. For all these theta values, we have to know the sine values for that. That is, see, in problems mostly we will be using the angles in the form of pi only. That is, 90 degrees pi by 2, 60 degrees pi by 3, and 45 degrees pi by 4, and 30 degrees pi by 6. Mostly you will be using the angles using pi values only. You will be referring the angles like this only. If you are not comfortable, you can also use the angles like this also. Okay, so these values are very much important. You have to go through before solving the problem. Okay. Next, we will see the sign of the trigonometry functions on these 4 quadrants. In the first quadrant, all the functions are positive. In the second quadrant, sine and cosecant are positive. In the third quadrant, tan and cot are positive. In the fourth quadrant, cos and secant are positive. Okay. To remember this, we have a code word, that is all silver tea cups. That is, all means all the functions are positive in this first quadrant, and the first letter is S. So S is for sine function, the sine function and its reciprocal, the cosecant function. Both are positive in the second quadrant, and T is for tan, the tan is positive and its reciprocal cot is positive in the third quadrant, and cups, C stands for cosecant, the cosecant function, and its reciprocal, the secant function. Both are positive in the fourth quadrant. So if you want to remember, you can always use this code, all silver tea cups. Okay, so this sign also very important to solve the problems. Next we will see the values of trigonometry functions of negative angles. If the angles are negative, what will happen? What will be its values? We will see now. See, sine of minus x, theta, that is sine of minus theta is minus sine theta, minus sine x only. Tan of minus x is minus tan x, cosecant of minus x is minus cosecant x, and cot of minus x is minus cot x. So it all remains same, that is, it all will get its minus sign in the function. That is, if the angle is negative, then the function will also be negative for sine, tan, cosecant and cot. Whereas for cos and secant alone, if the angle is negative, the function will remain the same. That is, cos minus x will be cos x only and secant minus x will be secant x only. So, once again I will repeat, for sine, tan, cosecant and cot, if the angle is negative, the function will also, the value of the function also will be the negative. But for cos and secant, if the angle is negative, the function, the value of the function will not get its negative, will remain the same only. Okay. By using all the principal branch values, by using the trigonometric value table, we will now see an example. See, we have to find the value of sine inverse of minus 1 by 2. Let us take this as y equal to sine inverse of minus 1 by 2. Now, let me take the sine inverse to the other side. So, it will become sine y equal to minus 1 by 2. See, for sine inverse function, the domain is from minus 1 to plus 1 and the range is from minus pi by 2 to plus pi by 2. Okay. See here, minus 1 by 2 lies in the domain. And what is 1 by 2? What is the sine value of 1 by 2? At what angle the sine value will become 1 by 2? When it is equal to, when the theta is equal to pi by 6, right? So, we will take sine y equal to minus sine, since it is minus here, we will take minus sine pi by 6. And just now we learned sine minus theta is minus sine theta. So, this can be written as sine minus pi by 6. Okay. So, sine y equal to sine minus pi by 6. Both the side we have sine function, but we are not supposed to cancel. Most of people used to cancel, but we are not supposed to cancel because it is a function. It is not a value, it is a function. So, you will just compare the left hand side and right hand side. Okay. Therefore, y equal to minus pi by 6. And you have to check whether this lies in the principal range. What is the range? Minus pi by 2, pi by 2. Okay. So, minus pi by 6 definitely lies in this range. If you have any confusion, see what is minus pi by 2? Minus 90 degree. Plus pi by 2 is plus 90 degree. Pi by 6. What is pi by 6? 180 by 6 is 30 degree. Minus 30. Minus 30 will definitely lie in this range. Therefore, y equal to minus pi by 6 is the principal branch value. Okay, so we have to find the principal value. Hence, we got y equal to minus pi by 6 belongs to minus pi by 2, pi by 2 is the principal value. So, here we use the principal value table and we use the sine value table, that is theta value table, and we use the inverse function also. Okay. Next, we will see another example. We have to find the principal value of cos inverse of root 3 by 2. So, similar to the previous sum, we will take y equal to cos inverse of root 3 by 2. Let y equal to cos inverse of root 3 by 2. Take cos inverse to the other side. For cos y equal to root 3 by 2. Okay. When your cos value will become root 3 by 2? When theta is pi by 6. Therefore, root 3 by 2 is cos pi by 6. That is cos y equal to cos pi by 6. Therefore, y equal to pi by 6 is the principal value. But you have to check whether it lies in the range, whether it lies in the principal range. What is the principal range? It is 0 to pi. The principal range is 0, pi. Okay. So, by referring to the theta table, that is the cos trigonometric values for different angles, we are using here, and by referring the principal value table we are using here, and hence the answer, that is y equal to pi by 6 is the principal value. Okay, so that's all the problem. Next we will now see the properties of inverse trigonometric functions. Our first property is sine inverse of 1 by x equal to cosecant inverse of x, where x is greater than equal to 1 or x is less than equal to minus 1. Okay, to show this, first we will take cosecant inverse of x equal to y. We are just assuming cosecant inverse of x equal to y. So if I take this cosecant inverse to the other side, we will get x equal to cosecant y, and taking reciprocal on both the side. So x will become 1 by x, and cosecant y, the reciprocal of cosecant y is sine y. Okay, now take sine to the other side. So sine will become sine inverse, and 1 by x equal to y. What is y? We assume y is cosecant inverse of x. So in place of y, you substitute cosecant inverse of x, and hence we got this property, that is sine inverse of 1 by x equal to cosecant inverse of x. So hence similarly, see, cosecant inverse of 1 by x equal to secant inverse of x, where x is greater than equal to 1 or x is less than equal to 1, and tan inverse of 1 by x equal to cot inverse of x, where x is greater than 0. Okay, so similar to this, you can, the same way you can prove this too also. Okay, so these three properties are sine inverse of angle 1 by x. See, sine inverse of 1 by x is cosecant inverse x, cos inverse of 1 by x is secant inverse x, and tan inverse of 1 by x is cot inverse x. Okay, these are all of angle 1 by x. Next we will move to other set of property. See, these property involve minus, that is negative angles. Okay, we will just have the proof of first one, and remaining we can prove similarly. Okay, see, sine inverse of minus x is minus sine inverse of x, where x belongs to the interval minus 1 comma 1. Okay, so let us first prove this. Let sine inverse of x equal to y. Let us assume this value as y. So if I take the sine inverse to the other side, you will have minus x equal to sine y. So that x, since minus x equal to sine y, I will take the minus to the other side, that is x equal to minus sine y. So just now we learnt, that is minus sine x is sine minus x, that is trigonometric functions of negative angles we learnt, right? So we will use that property here, x equal to sine minus y. Now you see, hence sine inverse of x equal to minus y, that is again take the sine to the other side. What I will get? Sine inverse of x, right? So sine inverse of x equal to this minus y, which is equal to minus sine inverse of minus x. It is, what is y here? Sine inverse of minus x, no. So instead of y, you substitute this, therefore minus sine inverse of minus x. Now you see, you can equate both these terms, that is sine inverse of x, these two terms you can equate. So sine inverse of x equal to minus sine inverse of minus x. You just take the minus to this side. So what happened? Sine inverse of minus x is minus sine inverse of x. Okay. Similarly, we can prove the other part. This two also we can prove similarly. Okay, what you will take? Tan inverse of minus x equal to y. Assume tan inverse of minus x equal to y, and for this assume cosecant inverse of minus x equal to y, and the same way you can proceed. So these three properties are of angle with minus sign, that is negative angles. For sine inverse, tan inverse and cosecant inverse, if the angle is negative, you will get the value as negative only. You will get the values negative. Okay. Next we will see the next set of properties. See, next we will see the functions like cos inverse, secant inverse and tan inverse of, cot inverse of negative angles. Okay. We will see this property now. First one we will prove now. See, cos inverse of minus x equal to pi minus cos inverse of x. We will prove this now, and the remaining two similarly we can practice. See, let us assume this cos inverse of minus x equal to y. Now, on taking this cos inverse to the other side, we will have minus x equal to cos y, and on taking minus to the other side, we have x equal to minus cos y. See, minus cos y, I want cos, both the side I want cos, so I don't want this cos to change as sine or any other function. So, when we subtract the angle from pi, the function will not change. Okay. So, on a xy plane, here up to here it is 0, from here it is 0, here it is pi by 2, here it is pi. Okay. See, pi minus theta will lie in this quadrant. Pi minus theta will lie in this quadrant. So, pi minus y also will lie in this quadrant. But here only sine and cosecant are positive. Other trigonometric values are, other trigonometric functions are negative. So, if cos comes here, cos will be negative here. So, minus cos y equal to, you can write as pi minus y. This minus cos y you can write as cos pi minus y. So, x equal to cos pi minus y we have. So, now this cos you take it to the other side. So, cos inverse of x equal to pi minus y, that is, see I am writing here, we have x equal to cos pi minus y. On taking cos to the other side, we have cos inverse of x equal to pi minus y. Okay. Now, y minus, so pi minus, what is y? Y is cos inverse of minus x. Now, here we have, let me take here this side we have cos inverse of x. Now, on exchanging the term on left hand side and right hand side, that is, let me take this minus cos inverse of minus x to the left hand side. Therefore, cos inverse of, that is, minus will become plus, cos inverse of minus x equal to pi, this term to the right hand side, pi minus cos inverse of x. That is simply rearranging the term. So, hence we got this property, see, cos inverse of minus equal to pi minus cos inverse of x, where x belongs to the interval minus 1 comma 1. Similarly, in the same way you can prove this too also. You can just practice on your own. Then we will see the next set of properties. Next we will see these three properties. See, sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x equal to pi by 2, where x belongs to the interval minus 1 comma 1. We will just prove one property now, first property. The remaining two you can practice in the same way. See, let us take sine inverse of x as y. So, sine inverse of x equal to y, and if I take the sine inverse to the other side, I will get x equal to sine y. Now, I want the cos function here. So, I want sine to be changed as cos. So, for changing of function, what you do usually in the previous classes, you will subtract the angle from 90 degree, right? You will subtract the theta from 90 degree. The same thing I am doing here. Here the theta is y. So, sine y I am changing as cos pi by 2 minus y. For changing the function, you will subtract it from 90 degree, that is pi by 2. If you don't want this function to change, you can subtract from the 180 degree like the previous property. See, this property, I don't want the function to be changed, so I just subtracted from pi, that is 180 degree. Whereas here I want cos, so I just subtracted the theta value from pi by 2. So, what will I get? X equal to cos pi by 2 minus y, that is x equal to cos pi by 2 minus y. Now, on taking cos to the other side, I will get cos inverse of x equal to pi by 2 minus y. Then what is y? Y is sine inverse of x. So, which is equal to pi by 2, instead of y I can substitute sine inverse of x. So, what I get now? Cos inverse of x equal to pi by 2 minus sine inverse of x. So on taking the sine inverse of x to the other side, I will get sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x equal to pi by 2, hence the property. So similarly, the other two properties also we can prove, you can practice the same way. Okay. Next we will go for next set of properties. See, tan inverse of x plus tan inverse of y equal to tan inverse of x plus y divided by 1 minus xy. Similarly, in the same way you have some properties in the trigonometric functions also. So here also we will just prove the first one, remaining you can practice in the same way. See, for proving this, I am just taking this tan inverse of x as theta and this tan inverse of y as pi. Okay, this symbol is called pi. Then what happened? Tan inverse of x equal to theta means x equal to tan theta, right? So x equal to tan theta. Tan inverse of y equal to pi means y equal to tan pi. Okay, so tan theta plus pi, you just take tan theta plus pi, that is you have no tan x plus y in the trigonometry functions, you have an identity in trigonometry functions, right? The same thing we will use tan theta plus pi equal to tan theta plus tan pi divided by 1 minus tan theta tan pi. That is, you would have learnt identity or property, that is tan a plus b equal to tan a plus tan b divided by 1 minus tan a tan b. Same thing we are using here, instead of a we have theta, instead of b we have pi. So what is tan theta here? Tan theta is x and tan pi is y. So x plus y divided by 1 minus xy. So theta plus pi equal to tan, just take the tan to the other side, that is tan inverse of x plus y divided by 1 minus xy. What is theta? Tan inverse of x. What is pi? Tan inverse of y, which is equal to, that is left hand side alone we are changing and substituting. Okay, hence we got the first property. In the same way you can practice the other two properties also. Now see, in this result, if we replace y by minus, we get the second result. See, this second result, y, if I change the y by minus y, that is in here if I change y by minus y, I will get tan inverse of minus tan inverse of x minus tan inverse of y I will get. So x minus y I will get here, then 1 minus, here in place of y if I substitute minus y, minus into minus will become plus, and hence I will get this property. Okay. Next we will go for another set of properties. This is 2 tan inverse of x for various values of x, we will see now. Okay. Always learn these properties in this manner. Always group with some similarities in your functions. See here, we are just learning properties of 2 tan inverse. Here we just learned tan inverse x plus tan inverse y in this format, and previously we just learned the addition of two inverse functions. Like that, you always group the properties by using some similarities, and then you learn, then it will be easy for you to memorize. To remember, it is easy. See, 2 tan inverse of x equal to sine inverse of 2x by 1 plus x square, where mod x is less than or equal to 1. Okay, we will just prove this now. So for all these property, the left hand side is same, where the right hand side differs according to the x values. Okay, we will first see the first one. Let tan inverse of x equal to y. Let us take the tan inverse of x equal to y. Then x equal to tan y we will have. Now, we have this property already. See, sine inverse of 2x by 1 plus x square equal to sine inverse of, in place of x you substitute 2 tan y divided by 1 plus x square is, x is tan y, so x square is tan square y, which is equal to, this fully you can substitute with sine 2y. This fully you can substitute with sine 2y. This is a trigonometric identity which you have already learnt in the class 11. This is a trigonometric identity. So instead of this term you can substitute sine 2y. Sine and sine inverse will get cancelled. No, we are not supposed to cancel. Okay, sine inverse will remove the sine. Therefore, you will have only 2y. So, y, what is y? We assume y as tan inverse of x. So, substitute tan inverse of x instead of y. Therefore, you have 2 tan inverse of x. Okay. So, sine inverse 2x by 1 plus x square equal to 2 tan inverse of x. What we did? We just assume some variable for this function, and from right hand side we arrived the left hand side. From right hand side we arrived the left hand side. Okay. See, this is the right hand side and which is equal to 2 tan inverse is the left hand side. Okay. Similarly, you see again the right hand side for the second property, cos inverse of 1 minus x square by 1 plus x square. So here again the same thing, x equal to tan y only. Substitute in place of x, substitute tan y, that is x square is minus tan square y and 1 plus x square is plus tan square y. The same thing again, this is a property. This is a property in your trigonometric functions. So instead of this I can substitute cos 2y and cos inverse will get removed. So 2y which is equal to 2y. In place of y you can substitute tan inverse of x. Hence we got the LHS. Okay, similarly you can go for the next one also. So what you did? You just substituted, you just assume this tan inverse of x as some other variable, and from the right hand side you arrive the left hand side. That's all this. The third one you just practice the similar way. Now we will see an important problem. See, tan inverse of 3a square x minus x cube divided by a cube minus 3ax square. We have to find this value where a is greater than 0 and minus a by root 3 less than x less than a by root 3. That is, x lies between these two values. Now we have to find the value of this term. Okay, for this let me take x equal to a, that is x equal to a tan theta. So x by a equal to tan theta. So tan inverse of x by a equal to theta. Now in place of x in the given question, the given function, substitute a tan theta. Okay, so tan inverse of 3 into a square, x is a. Now in the given function, in place of x we will substitute a tan theta. Okay, so the given function tan inverse of 3 into a square, in place of x we will substitute a tan theta minus x cube is a cube tan cube theta divided by a cube minus 3a tan square theta, and in x we have another a, right? That a square also we will include here. Now tan inverse of, see here we have a square into a cube, and here also a cube, so we will take a cube common, 3 tan theta minus tan cube theta divided by, again in the denominator also we have a cube common, so 1 minus 3 tan square theta. We will cancel a cube and a cube. So we have tan inverse of, this is a identity in trigonometry function, so which is equal to tan 3 theta. So tan inverse will remove tan function, therefore we can write 3 theta. Here theta value is what? Tan inverse of x by a. For 3 into tan inverse of x by a is the answer. Okay, and hence the solution is over. Now we will see again an important problem. Next we will see one more important problem. See, if tan inverse of x minus 1 by x minus 2 plus tan inverse of x plus 1 by x plus 2 equal to pi by 4, then find the value of x. See, this resembles some property. Okay, these two terms resemble some properties. Tan inverse of a plus tan inverse of b equal to tan inverse of a plus b divided by 1 minus ab. Okay, so this left hand side we are going to apply here, so that this full term will become a and this full term will become b. Okay, so my left hand side will become tan inverse of x minus 1 by x minus 2 plus x plus 1 by x plus 2 the whole divided by 1 minus x minus 1 by x minus 2 x plus 1 by x plus 2. The whole term is equal to pi by 4. Now take LCM for both the numerator and denominator. It is tan inverse of x minus 1 into x plus 2 plus x plus 1 into x minus 2 the whole divided by x minus 2 into x plus 2 the whole divided by. See, now take LCM for this, for the new denominator, that is x minus 2 into x plus 2 minus x minus 1 into x plus 1 the whole divided by again x minus 2 into x plus 2. Equal to pi by 4. Both the denominators are same, so we can cancel this, and on just simplifying this, we'll have tan inverse of 2x square minus 4 divided by minus 3 equal to pi by 4. This is just the simplified form of this term. Okay, you can also simplify and verify. So now what we can do, we have minus in the denominator, take that to the numerator. So tan inverse of 4 minus 2x square divided by 3 equal to pi by 4. Okay, so in this we can take tan on both the sides. That we'll do it in the next page. Take tan on both the sides. What we have, we'll have 4 minus 2x square divided by 3 equal to, see, if we take tan on both the sides, tan and tan inverse get cancelled, and we'll have tan pi by 4. Okay, if you want, we'll write the step tan inverse of, so the function is tan inverse of this term equal to pi by 4. On taking tan on both the side, what happened? Tan of tan inverse 4 minus 2x square divided by 3 equal to tan pi by 4. So tan and tan inverse, tan and will remove the tan inverse. Therefore 4 minus 2x square will be the remaining equal to tan pi by 4 equal to 1. So 4 minus 2x square equal to 3. So we will get 3 plus 2x square minus 4. Okay. Now 2x square minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1 equal to 0. So 2x square equal to 1, x square equal to 1 by 2, x equal to plus or minus square root of 1 by 2. So we will get x equal to plus or minus 1 by root 2. So what is our question? If tan equal to this function, if this function exists, we have to find the value of x. Hence, we got the value of x, and that's all the problem. This is again an important problem. Similar to this, there are many problems in your NCERT textbook, and there are many example problems also. You also practice those problems. So guys, these are the properties we learned in this class. So learn these properties by categorizing according to the angle. See here in this set of identities, the angle are 1 by x, and here for sine inverse, tan inverse and cosecant inverse, for negative angles we have some property, and for cos inverse, secant inverse and cot inverse, for negative angles we have some property, and for some of the two inverse operations, inverse functions, we have some properties, and we have few more properties by categorizing according to the left hand side or according to the angles. So get thorough with all these properties to apply in the problems. And you also need to learn all the basic trigonometric identities which you have already learned in class 11, and I want you to have a recap in this class also, and solve all the miscellaneous questions from the NCERT textbook and solve the example questions also, and try to solve all the previous year question paper also. So guys, in this class we have learned the inverse trigonometry functions, their domain and the ranges, the principal values and the properties of inverse trigonometry functions. I hope the class is very much useful for you. So in the next class we will meet you with another new topic, that is the chapter 3 matrices. Thank you.
For more queries, please contact Buddy on 98408 44987 or visit buddy.live.